The modern NBA is a kaleidoscope of personalities. Few are more controversial than Kyrie Irving. In his 10-year NBA career, Kyrie has seemingly never left the headlines. The dude just seems to like it there. He's also demonstrated a versatile mastery of alienating teammates and getting fans riled up. Keep watching to find out what NBA players really think of Kyrie Irving. He's disrespectful. If Kyrie is interested in learning from his superiors or cooperating with the basketball industry's complex ecosystem, he has done a Houdini-like job of disguising it. To many around him, it seems as though he never wastes an opportunity to make life more difficult for everybody all the time. Recently, Irving issued a statement saying he flat out refused to talk to the media. This is something players are contractually obligated to do, and as a result, the NBA fined Irving to the tune of $25,000. Not only that, they also fined the Brooklyn Nets organization $25,000 as well, despite costing both himself and his team a small swimming pool full of money. Irving still refused to back down and quickly issued another statement describing the media as, quote, pawns. This drew widespread criticism, including from Kyrie's former teammate and co-champion, Kevin Love. Love's statement was the most publicized, but we can be reasonably sure he's far from the only person who felt that way. Another recent example of Kyrie Irving's disrespectful behavior was back in October of 2020. Irving went on Kevin Durant's podcast and said, among other things, that playing alongside Durant meant that he was finally no longer the only person who would take the game-winning shot for his team. Obviously, this didn't go over well with anybody who happened to have actually watched the NBA in the past decade. What former teammate could Kyrie possibly be referring to? Wondered absolutely nobody. Negative reactions to this exploded across the league. Retired NBA veteran Kendrick Perkins was particularly thoughtful and offered this nuanced interpretation. This would mark the second time in just a few months that Irving would manage to be called disrespectful on national TV by another player. It's unfortunate the NBA doesn't include this in their statistics, as it almost has to be some kind of record. He doesn't follow COVID-19 protocols. Recently, Kyrie Irving added, quote, potentially infected with a deadly disease, end quote, to his already notorious reputation. In early January of 2021, Irving missed 5 consecutive Nets games for undisclosed reasons. During this time, and for many months prior, it was strictly against NBA protocols for players to go to bars, clubs, lounges, or gatherings of 15 or more people under any circumstances. Irving apparently decided to spend his conspicuous absence somehow combining all of these forbidden things into one single event, which was captured on video and then posted publicly to social media. In this bar lounge gathering of at least 15 people, Kyrie Irving can be seen dancing with his sister Asia Irving, as though they're both starring in an NBA instructional video about what not to do during the pandemic. The Nets general manager, Sean Marks, immediately released a statement after the video surfaced, saying, quote,
regarding Kyrie and when he'll be hopefully back and rejoining the team, part of that is going to be up to the NBA, and we're waiting for them to come out with, so they're ruling on the health and safety protocols.
What he probably meant to say was, we are absolutely certain Kyrie violated every health and safety protocol in the book, and now the NBA wants to slash the GDP of a third world country out of his salary. As it turns out, that is exactly what happened. The NBA not only fined Irving $50,000, he also forfeited over $800,000 in salary. That means Irving is well on pace to lose over $1 million so far this NBA season. He's a conspiracy theorist. One of the more well-known quirks in Kyrie Irving's personality is his apparent propensity for conspiracies. Most NBA fans, and even the general public, will remember when Kyrie said,
"The flat earth."
He later claimed that this was just a joke, redeeming himself with basically no one. But apparently, this isn't even the only conspiracy theory Irving believes in. He also believes that John F. Kennedy was assassinated by the Federal Reserve Bank, and that the CIA once attempted to kill Bob Marley. After Irving was traded to the Boston Celtics in 2017, his new teammate, Jaylen Brown, expressed his interest in Irving's views to reporters.
There's going to be numerous conversations. I'm interested in having the conversation on whether the world is flat or round or not. So it's going to be an interesting year.
By interesting, Brown probably means baffling and ridiculous. Not every NBA player has been as diplomatic or polite, however. To describe Kyrie as the laughingstock of the NBA would be too harsh, and ultimately not entirely true. But his wild beliefs are one of the biggest reasons why he's consistently received a much larger amount of ridicule than the average player. He's unpredictable. Maybe the only thing anybody can agree on when it comes to Kyrie is that nobody has any idea what the man is going to do next. It's worth pointing out that this can sometimes work to Kyrie's advantage. Steph is obviously referring to Kyrie's insane ball handling skills. In fact, if you watch carefully, you can almost see a similarity between Kyrie's behavior on the court and off the court, bouncing around suddenly from one idea to the next, never in a straight line, and never in a way that others can keep track of. He can cross up defenders just as quickly as he can cross between talking about flat earth conspiracy and saying Christmas isn't a holiday. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Despite being a devout Christian and allegedly even having a close personal relationship with the famous pastor Carl Lenz, Irving nevertheless told reporters back in December of 2017 that he doesn't necessarily think of Christmas as a holiday. Of course, this outraged people all over the place. Regardless of your opinions about Christmas or whether or not you personally celebrate it, this was a spectacularly unwise PR move by Kyrie. He said this to a room full of reporters just days before playing in the NBA's official Christmas Day game. This might have gone over well with the Grinch, but that's about it. Who could have predicted Kyrie would say something like this? Kyrie surprised the world again the following year when he was asked about Thanksgiving. As recently as 2011, Irving had publicly voiced his participation in the holiday. But by the time the Thanksgiving NBA game rolled around in 2018, Irving had apparently shifted his views dramatically. In fact, his newfound distaste for Thanksgiving now appeared to be much stronger than even his previously established distaste for Christmas. When asked about Thanksgiving, Irving told reporters, quote, "I don't celebrate that fudge Thanksgiving." Now that they're teammates, perhaps James Harden can help shed some light on the subject of Kyrie, though he probably won't share his plate with him. He's confused. Most people would agree. Anybody who believes the Earth is flat is experiencing impressive confusion. But others who are more forgiving might come to Kyrie's defense and argue that, ultimately, Kyrie's field of expertise is basketball, not science. But in the 2019 playoffs, Kyrie Irving made sure to do away with those supporters too. After a dismissal to the Milwaukee Bucks in which Kyrie scored just 9 points, he explained to reporters that he, quote, "is an actual genius when it comes to this game," end quote. This was quite a surprise to those in attendance. Irving has definitely shown moments of incredible basketball talent, but this game was not one of them. He failed to score even 10 points, and his team lost. By a lot. They say genius is often misunderstood. Maybe that's true, because it's safe to say nobody could understand it at all in this case. Irving also told an arena full of screaming Boston Celtic fans that he planned on re-signing with Boston in 2019, so long as they would have him back. Clearly, he was confused again. Kyrie had barely even sat back down after delivering this inspiring speech when he signed a 4-year, $140 million contract with the rival Brooklyn Nets. When asked to explain this treachery, Irving was, as usual, totally unhelpful in his response, saying, quote, "I always knew in my heart I wanted to play at home." This answer showed that Kyrie was confused beyond anyone's wildest expectations. Not only did he completely change his story from just a year prior, he also apparently forgot that the Nets haven't played in New Jersey, where Irving grew up, in almost a decade. During the press conference, Irving was even wearing his new uniform with the word Brooklyn written in bold letters across the front. He was probably furious when he went into the bathroom and saw himself in the mirror after the press conference. He's clutch. Not all the observations made about Kyrie have been negative. One of his biggest redeeming qualities is his incredibly clutch shooting. In fact, on the NBA's list of the 60 most clutch plays of the past decade, Irving's three-pointer in Game 7 of the 2016 Finals ranked all the way at number 4. Only Kawhi's legendary buzzer beater, LeBron James's block in Iguodala, and Ray Allen's championship-saving three-pointer in 2013 were ranked above it. This isn't the only time Kyrie has shown up in a big way in crunch time. In fact, even when he was still with the Cavs, Irving had made so many clutch shots in his career, there was already a nearly 15-minute compilation of them back in 2017. Several players have commented over the years on Kyrie's extraordinarily icy veins. including his new teammate Kevin Durant. Irving was also a good friend and protege of the late, great Kobe Bryant. Bryant once told the story that immediately after hitting the game-winning shot in the 2016 finals, Irving FaceTimed him to express his gratitude for all the wisdom he had shared with him. Bryant also gave Irving pointers on being a team leader and bringing the best out of his teammates. Final thoughts. For an iconic clutch legend like the Black Mamba to see so much potential in Kyrie proves that Kyrie is an unusually gifted player. Many of the ingredients are there to carry a franchise, but for whatever variety of reasons, it just hasn't seemed to fully come together for him yet. Irving has served as a fantastic Robin to LeBron's Batman and managed to win an NBA title at just 24 years old. Now, he's on a title-worthy roster with Kevin Durant and James Harden, forming one of the best teams currently in the Eastern Conference. Will Kyrie pull it together and return to the finales? Or will he continue his pattern of erratic behavior, battling with the media, flaunting regulations, and stirring up controversy with his words? Like Steph Curry said, the guy is kind of unpredictable. The only way to find out is to keep watching events as they unfold. One upside to Irving's eccentric personality is that he makes things much more entertaining along the way. Thank you guys so much for watching. You've been listening to me, The Fool, and we hope you enjoyed this video. Besides the players, we also want to know what you think about Kyrie. Please share your thoughts with us in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon for more content like this on Dunk. We'll see you next time.